Going to Albany, and part of the reason I'm doing it is because I remember this story you told me about when we were kids at Vancouver Street, and you thought you saw a ghost of, was it an old lady in the lounge room?
So I was in the lounge room, and it was pretty late at night. Everyone else had gone to bed, and I looked across from the TV and I saw this figure in the doorway walking from the kitchen into the laundry. And from the height and the appearance, it seemed like I felt like it was an old lady, maybe in their 60s or early 70s.
And what was her appearance like?
Semi-opaque, like so a little see-through.
Like translucent?
Very pale. Like so slightly less than shoulder length hair, kind of a little bit wavy.
Where were you sitting when you saw it?
I was at the far end of the lounge, which was basically right next to what used to be the dispensary window in the house.
Dad mentioned something about it. It might have been an old apothecary where they dispensed the medication.
That's my understanding of it.
Do you remember how you felt at the time? Were you scared?
Not really a strong feeling of fear, more just maybe confusion.
Peter saw a ghost in the same house when we were kids, and from my memory, he actually drew a picture of an old man, and it was in a similar location. Did he mention anything to you?
He did. I've got some vague memories of it. I was pretty young, but it would have been probably about 6 months before I saw anything. There's definitely a possibility of it being a real apparition.
Bye, guys.
Divine guidance.
Oh, good, yes. Your angels will be looking after you, because what you see in that house will set some people free, if that makes sense. People that have been there, lived there and have passed on, but somehow by you going there, and I don't quite know how this is going to work out, but you will set people free emotionally. Do meditation and cleanse your mind and drink lots of water before you go too. It's just all about a cleansing thing. You know? Archangel Michael, he's the head of the angels, very fierce warrior, very, very protective. So I think we've just answered our own question there about, would you be unprotected? He'll look after you.
Do you think I definitely will encounter something?
I think you probably will, yeah, but it won't be an unpleasant encounter, not at all, no.
And do you think I'll see, or will it just be a feeling? I know that's hard to ask.
It's hard to say, it depends where you are, but you'll feel something and you'll say, is that what she was talking about? You'll know, you'll know. There's a very old cemetery. You must visit the cemetery. And I don't know why I'm telling you that, but just go to the cemetery, because that will unlock a lot of things for you too. If you can go into that house, something's going to hit you, and you're going to think, my goodness, I never thought about that. I forgot all about that. Something, sometimes when you're a little kid and something happens or somebody says something and you think, silly grown-ups or whatever, and you don't take any notice of it. But somehow down here it's buried in the subconscious. And then when you go back to that place or you see that person years later and you think, now I know what he or she meant. That's the manifestation that's going to hit you when you walk into that place. It really is. It's amazing, and it's just such it'll be a very powerful emotional experience for you.
When she was talking about the holy water, that really got me, because I've been thinking, you know, that's one of my biggest worries is the bad spirit kind of thing. So I was thinking, how do you protect yourself from that if it is a thing? I think we should go and see the priest. After arriving in Albany and settling in for the night, I made contact with Father Christian, a local Catholic priest who was happy to meet and discuss the afterlife, as long as it was off camera. Okay, so we're here at Albany Catholic Church, where Father Christian's agreed to meet me and give me some holy water, and I'm going to ask him a few questions about the spirit world, but from a religious perspective. Wish me luck.
My name is Christian Saminel. I am one of the priests here in Albany. We believe in the resurrection or life after death, and we believe in the body and the presence of the soul in each body. Even Jesus himself was curing the person who had been afflicted with evil spirits. Then he even commanded those evil spirits to go to the pigs.
Okay.
It's in the Bible, and he has been curing those people who had demoniac experiences.
Things like exorcisms and
Yep.
people being possessed.
Yep, there are cases in the Catholic Church who had been possessed by the evil spirits. Yes, and we have this special ministry in the Catholic Church who do exorcism for those who are being possessed by the evil spirits. They exist everywhere, and it's everywhere. So, in a Catholic perspective, the protection that we could have is prayer, and definitely trust in God, because I mean, God has the greatest power over the spirits. Even with my family back in the Philippines, we used to always have the holy water. Then whenever someone is sick and someone is scared or there's a big storm coming, my grandmother would always sprinkle holy water around the house, because it's more of cleansing the house from the evil spirits, as we believed in.
So if I went into a house and say there was a poltergeist, do you think it would be appropriate to use holy water in that circumstance?
I would believe yes.
Okay. Is there anything I might be able to say or do to help them?
There's what we call the third eye, or on how you can encounter the evil spirits, or whenever you encounter this, let's say, ghost or spirit, they might be bad or not, we don't know, but on how open you are to communicate with them, because sometimes they could communicate with us through dreams, through whisper, through sounds. One thing is, you don't distract them, you don't go there to annoy them, to make any sound whatsoever. You go to that house with respect, and definitely they will respect you as well. I'll be doing a prayer over you for your own protection as well. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Saint Michael the Archangel, illustrious leader of the heavenly army, defend us in the battle against principalities and powers, against the rulers of the world of darkness and the spirit of wickedness in high places. Defend and guard Lincoln as he will having his journey tomorrow. Bless him, guide him, and grace him with all the necessary things that he'll be needing on his journey. Keep him in your heart and bless him. All this we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you very much. And for the benefit of the microphone, I'll point out you just put holy water on my forehead in the shape of the cross.
Yes.
From your holy water dispenser.
Yep.
As a child, I had frequented the Vancouver Arts Centre to engage in all kinds of different art classes. The building itself was constructed in 1887 and was originally known as the Albany Cottage Hospital. The old hospital, as I always knew it, sat directly opposite my house and was rumoured to be home to not one but two different ghosts. I decided this would be a great place to commence our ghost hunt, but first wanted to speak with someone who had witnessed a ghost on Vancouver Street around the same time as my brothers.
Yep.
Alright, we're here to see Jack. you going, man?
So I used to have a thing every week where I'd have to, take the bins out, which was sort of, it'd sit here, and I have to bring them down the driveway out to the front of the house, out in the street, and it was usually at this time of day I'd do it. You know, it was starting to get dark, I guess, and especially winter would be a lot darker. But
So you'd walk down here, and here's the letterbox, and here's where you put the bins out.
yeah, so the bins would go here, and there was this
Is it the one
This is
upstairs?
the window here, this bay window, and I'd sort of look across there in the dusk, and I don't know, every now and then I thought I'd see someone up there, you know, like a woman,
Yeah,
dressed in kind of like an old costume, which is always I couldn't see anything, no detail.
a
It was
lady in
black.
an old costume.
Yeah,
We've been investigating. Upstairs is there's the infectious ward, but it's also where a lot of the matrons used to be.
yeah, okay,
Especially up in those two rooms there.
yeah, right.
And so after was the infectious ward, I think they stayed up there a bit, and there's rumoured to be a ghost of a matron that walks in the top floor. So that's possibly who you saw.
That's pretty creepy, man. I reckon sometimes you'd look across there, you'd see something, and you'd just go, "F that," and just get out of here.
Imagine or visualize that you're breathing light.
I am feeling a bit more calm about going in there.
Bit more grounded.
Yeah, I don't think we really have anything too much to worry about. Time to get set up. This motion sensor. As we've had people tell us, someone has been going up and down these stairs.
Oh, there's something going on here. The air temperature changes here. I'm getting goosebumpy. I got it as I walked through this one too.
You've got to carry the holy water on you at all times. That's what Father Christian said. Okay. That's everything, isn't it? Still automatic doors. After setting up our equipment, we commenced our first sweep of the premises to see if Imogen could pick up on any supernatural energy. Time for ghost hunt.
This room, as I get further into the middle, the pressure that is building in my head is really intense actually.
Well, apparently, when this was a boarding house for boys,
Oh, was it really?
yeah,
Because that's what I've got. With that hatch under the stairs, there's been someone shut on me. That was a horrible feeling. It's strong headache. Goosebumps. That, I just get chills. We need actually to let them know that we're safe. so that you guys, that we're here not with ill intention. Does that make sense? Because they're just, I can feel the energy, it's really strong, but it's like they're worried about the intentions behind what's happening.
What's that? Careful over here. You guys heard that, didn't you? It's like a knocking or a tapping.
I've had cesareans and my Caesar scar. I'm starting to feel some really interesting sensations. There's something coming up from the jungle. I can feel it really strong in my back.
From the end room?
Yeah. I don't know if you can see that. My hair's all red. This is, oh my goodness, this is the window. I keep seeing her. She just stepped in here and kind of looking. On this side. The one that I kept seeing we were talking about. It was definitely, I guess, such a strange sense of
Just got a reading on this. It's gone now. Do you hear that?
Yeah. I'm getting different body stuff now. I don't know.
I think it might have been one of them.
Oh, so that window would be the same room, maybe?
I think it would be.
Because there was, as I walked past there, there's definitely... I just had something brush my arm. What does that one actually do?
It's an electromagnetic radiation detector.
Okay. Because, that it beeped, didn't it, just before? Right here.
I heard that.
Yeah. And there's something, it's like I'm moving through something.
We've left Imogen in there. She requested some time in that end room where we felt there was a presence, and then we heard that noise. Previous to our arrival in Albany, Imogen had had a premonition of a lady in a white gown wandering the top floor of the building.
It's that room where I get the sense of that woman, standing, like holding herself and just kind of looking back and forth, that sort of self-comforting thing that people do if they're extremely stressed or if they're perhaps got something.
Do you think maybe she had mental health problems?
Yeah. It feels like being immersed in the day-to-day activity, so that they're not so much aware of us perhaps, but moving about us, just doing what they did.
After making our way back to the hallway, Imogen expressed a desire to re-examine the staircase.
Well, it's like I can just about hear. It's intense in there. That's, like child locked in there at some point and absolutely terrified. Sorry, I'm getting a bit emotional now because it's just full on. I get, it's like the huddled and holding his knees and whimpering and asking to be let out. Would it be alright if I just don't want to leave that one in there?
Yeah, sure.
Sure, of course.
So, for me right now, what I'm doing is I'm opening a portal of light. You can already feel him shifting. And I always call in the archangels and Jesus, and for me I always call in Mary Magdalene as well. So now I get a sense, like the energy is kind of moving towards the light. And there's a lifting of the energy, that terror and fear, the emotion and fear. It's lifting now. And there's a little bit of a thank you as he goes through. You can see pyjamas, like striped pyjamas. And now I'm just kind of sending some light into that space now, just to clear that stuck energy. Okay, we're good. Sorry.
You okay?
Yeah, I love that. I love doing that. You can feel all of their emotion. That intense. You can imagine what that would have been like. If he's in his pyjamas, then he must have been in there at night. To be locked in there at night, and the terror for a little boy or child, even for an adult, you would still be. That's just traumatising. But the lift, as that energy starts to shift out of there and move into the light, and there always comes this gratitude as they move into it, even the ones that are most scared about going across. When they actually get to a certain point towards that threshold, the energy, all of that fear falls away, and it's a real privilege actually. It's really strong. Like this, when we walked in, like coming up to the threshold of the door.
No, there's no one out there.
It's not like a door opening.
Is it downstairs or upstairs? Are you alright?
Tell you what, how about we head down to that main room?
Yeah. The feelings can be it can feel a lot like pressure, like storm pressure, that sort of thing, when the weather is changing, but with a really, much more intensified. But then also, picking up on what they might have been feeling physically, so that in the room up there, that was much more a feeling like my sinuses felt very heavy, whereas down here it's more, I get this pressure sort of around my jaw in here. It's very, very strong. Getting
4:14, 7:51. Oh, just beep too. 8:34.
this is almost so thick, it's like
5:01, 5:84, 5:05. It's every time we get close to these windows, I think it's the gallery.
Yeah, I wonder what that room was used for.
Apparently, that's where a lot of the sightings have been. So.
Oh gosh, I feel something here. Do you feel that?
It smells something. It's not a very nice feeling.
No, it isn't. It's almost like as I stepped in, it was almost like getting pushed out.
It's 384 or 5 near the door. A bit of resistance, you think?
Yeah.
It's always when we're near any kind of entrance to that room. I think tomorrow night, that's where we've got to focus our energy. Our experience with Imogen that night had raised several questions about the building's history, so we sought the advice of a local historian.
The original building was just this ward, so this one was built 1887, I think, and then that one was added a few years later, so that's not part of the original building. And originally it was just for men, so that was the men's ward. And then when they built this one, this became the men's ward and that became the women's ward. After it stopped being a hospital in 1962, for a little while it was used as the hostel for boys at Ashes.
We went through here with Imogen. We're reading that it was like the mess hall.
Yeah, because that room there was the kitchen.
Okay.
When it was a hospital and then when it was a boys' hostel.
There's a story of a young boy who passed away from influenza. He was being transported here from the older hospital and died not long after his arrival.
The town hospital was a building just down behind where the old jail is and where near Muchmore's Cottage. But it was where the railway is, and the railway line was being built and coming through, and this place was being built to replace that, and this place hadn't been finished, but they wanted the railway line to come through. So they actually started demolishing the old place because they were using some of the material, some of the windows and doors, and they took windows and doors off. And there was a little boy, I think he was about 12, who was in the old place, and he had, I think, flu that had turned into sort of pneumonia. And in those days, it was easy to die of those things. Like these days, you wouldn't. And they started pulling the doors and windows off and just left them with sort of bits of cloth as curtains. And so, of course, it was drafty and cold and whatnot. And he died. As a result, I'm pretty sure he died down there. I'd have to check the records.
The story I heard that he was actually brought up here in a wheelbarrow.
It's quite possible that he was brought here. What they would have brought him on, they had like hand cart trolley things, stretcher things. Yes, that story is all very well documented in the newspapers at the time because the doctor was held responsible and actually he was a government doctor and he lost his job as a result. This bit was added just before the Second World War, this whole wing. When I did my research, the Arts Centre people always talked about this as being the place they didn't like, the spooky bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. About here, it couldn't have been where the rock was, I think maybe where this shed was. When they came to do the restoration, there was a timber and iron building out here which had been what they called the native ward. And this is where they had Aboriginal patients. I mean, while that sounds very racist, and it probably was on some levels. Yeah. One of the old staff I spoke to who'd actually, and that was still used up until the Second World War, and she'd been here when it was still in use. And her take on it was that the Aboriginal patients they didn't like the regimentation of hospital, because in those days you had visiting hours and often kids weren't allowed to visit and certainly dogs weren't allowed to visit, whereas down here, when they were in here, they could have their families and their dogs, and they had a fire outside and they could have that 24 hours a day. And so it was a way of trying to address the two different cultures.
Crispin had provided us a better understanding of the building's history, but it is now time to speak with someone who claims to have witnessed a ghost inside the hospital. My granddad, Dudley Dreyer. You were in the main gallery and you looked back down the corridor, was it?
Yes.
Do you think it was a ghost that you saw in the passageway?
Yes, simply yes. The figure was at the western end of the gallery, moved across the gallery. There's not much room to do that, but did move across the gallery and vanished. I'd just come down that area myself, and then it must have been a footstep that made me look back again. I hesitate to say whether I know he's old or I know he's young, but I think he was an old person, and he just moved across, taking virtually no notice of me at all. It's one of those things where something turns your head, you're not quite sure afterwards why, but it turns your head to look at it.
Is that the first time this has happened?
In that manner, yes. Being associated with a building, I can say that it's not unusual to have experience of other presences in the bush virtually as much as you can in a built-up area.
One thing that really scared me about this whole experience was, the thought of bad spirits and encountering one, what that might mean. And I was told that there are people that watch over you, and that possibly Mum could be one of those people. Do you think that's a possibility, that I don't need to worry going through these places because Mum is watching over me?
Certainly. For whatever reason, you're given the privilege of experiencing these second divisions. Make the most of them and believe them, as I say. Believe what you see. It's unlikely that they're going to do you harm.
We should have a listen. It's a really big spider. I didn't get a good feeling when we went there. Maybe if we go to that door again. Upon approaching the door, I reflected on what Imogen had taught me and stopped to ask for permission to enter the room. When I spoke to her, she spoke of a trapdoor around this area, or kind of like a little basement or something. I'm not sure if it was here, but she said at 5 p.m. that each day you would smell cigar smoke there. Maybe it's where the boys went to act out. Definitely keeps going this way. It goes around. You smell that?
Yeah.
Let's not go down there. There's electrical wire, so that's not safe. It's time to head upstairs. Unfortunately, our key didn't work on the second studio, the same room where Jack had witnessed a lady gazing out of the window. Instead, we set up recording devices next door in Studio 3 in hope of capturing some kind of activity in the vicinity. is outside. Hear that? It's happening down the road. I think we should back up and check it out. What's that? That's the main building done. Okay, so we're doing our final check of the morgue now. I'm wondering what the link is between here and the quarantine station.
That means you're starting to believe a bit.
You don't want to... Because what if you're wrong? What if something is going on? And you hear that? Did that come from inside there?
I'm not sure.
That sounded like it came from inside the building. You heard that, right? Like a...
I did. It was like a grumbling noise, like something heavy being moved, or
like something being dragged across.
maybe. Yeah.
You see? Definitely sounded like something being dragged.
What do you think it could have been?
Anything.
Maybe a chair?
Likely a chair. I think we should leave whatever it is alone. There it was again. Did you hear that?
I did.
It came from in there, didn't it?
Yeah, I did.
I'm not just imagining that.
No, I heard that like grumble noise again.
Like something being dragged across the floor.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, I hope we didn't upset it. I think that's our cue. Local archives reveal stories of John Redden, the last lighthouse keeper. Redden would materialise on vessels entering the harbour at night, guiding them away from rocks. The home of John Redden. A recurrence of this tale took place in the late 80s, when the Smith family reported the presence of an identical figure who guided them to safety as they entered Albany Port on a dark and windy night. That looks out over the bay and it's pretty damn windy. We're going to get some shelter in here. When I was 15, I used to camp out at Point King Lighthouse with my best friend Stuart. Unfortunately, Stuart never lived past the age of 18, but I like to think he's still around. So this room here is the room that Stuart and I used to try and camp out in, which probably wasn't the smartest thing because it's got two big open windows on it. It's an important part of my teenage years, I guess. It's where I established that I was definitely scared of ghosts. After setting up equipment throughout the building, we bunkered down in the front room to road test some of the ghost apps I'd been researching. Okay, so the idea of Spirit Box is that it tunes through the radio frequencies and it plays back to you once you've answered a question, and you can hear voices through the radio. It's kind of the same principle as white noise. You guys hear that okay?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. So we're going to ask a question. We would like to make contact with the ghost of John Redden. If John Redden is present in this home, in the old lighthouse, be known through the radio frequencies we're tuning into. I'm not picking anything up. Are you guys picking anything up?
No, it's like racing sounds.
We are calling on the spirit of John Redden to make contact with us if you are present within these walls.
Without seeing the universe, personally, the first challenge, now, that I was maybe that if those was there is a spell in that piece.
We're calling on the spirit of John Redden to make contact if you are within these walls.
Every noise I thought I heard something, it's kind of like, oh, that's just the radio. Like,
Yeah, I thought it was only the low ones where it's like. So this app is called Ghost Detector. It says prestigious journals have confirmed that paranormal high and abrupt changes in the electromagnetic levels involve the presence of spirits. Look at the graph and look for these variations. The spirits may be closer than you thought. It's actually got a camera here. It shows spikes in the electromagnetic field. So we're going to give these guys a break and we're going to have a quick walk through. I think whatever was here, or whoever was here, is long gone. It's all worn out. Whoa! That just spiked. What was that? That was just here. See, it's carved out in there. You heard that too, right? This is where I used to have my tent. Right next to where we got the reading. And I always got so creeped out. Something about this. You hear that?
Yeah, it's like a squeaky noise.
What was that? Jesus. Okay. It's making that squeaky noise again. I think that's... I don't know, I'm kind of skeptical about this, but when I used the other EMF detector, it didn't show up anything when we were searching a lot of the other places. There were small readings, but this, as soon as you get close, and this is wooden. You can see, if you're watching me, do you guys want to come in and have a look?
Sure, mate.
You hear that?
Well,
What is that? It's not doing it anymore. You hear the whistling though?
Yeah.
Alright, so it's Friday the 13th. We've spent a good, hour and a half here scouting out the place. Do you guys think there's anything here?
who knows?
yeah, I don't know if it's just.
I think there's questions.
Good to see When I turned 18, I ventured out to the White Star Hotel. Originally built by Charles Redden in 1910, this iconic pub let rooms to farers of the White Star Shipping Company. Rumours of a dark presence had increased over the years, with some scared to walk the top floor.
You know, the room with the fireplace, and then you go through the adjoining room.
Yeah.
In that second room, always something there.
I was just in there then, yeah. It's quite interesting. It's funny when you walked in, and the door's like that, I kind of automatically put my foot at the doors.
One time I was doing verse 2 or 3 here, and I felt something grab along my leg, and that was in that room. And then we wanted to do a big wallpaper thing with old articles about the White Star.
Yeah.
And so I did a lot of research, and yeah, there was that little girl who died in Perth, got hit by a tram, but this is where she lived.
Oh. Brought her body back to here to bury her.
She lived here and she was up there with her mother, I think. And then the week after, her brother, who lived here as well, was swimming on the town jetty and drowned. So yeah, pretty crazy.
Yeah.
After further research into the White Star's history, Dave also came across the stories of 2 young women who had been evicted from the premises after unverified accusations of sexual solicitation. His research also helped uncover 2 separate deaths at the hotel, that of District Agent Dick Francis, who succumbed to a heart attack, and more suspiciously Christopher Eustace, a 55-year-old man who fell from his bedroom window in 1908, shattering his kneecaps and jaw on the pavement out front of the building.
There's this other area where I want to take you down, and it's, you know, I'm not too worried about things, but yeah, I went down there the other day and I walked into that area, you know, just testing the feels, and I didn't want to stay. So all this is sort of in a state of disrepair, but these were all rooms that people lived in for 100 years or more. So there's a lot of history in like any old hotel, I guess, or hospital. And the experience I had where that window came slamming down and all the colours that changed in those photographs that I showed you. This is it.
That's the window.
And that's where that thing was. That
it looked like a hand.
Light. It was up here like this. When the light's right, that looks quite interesting. This thing here, the way it's all gouged out, you know, like it's just there and stuff like that. And so what I did was there used to be a curtain here, and I draped it over the door. And I pulled this up so I could see it here, and I stood back about here, and I took a couple of photos trying to get the light right, and like I showed you, the pink and the blue was standing out in the photos, and the colours were very clear.
Yeah.
And then suddenly all the frames went dark, and so it was like a charcoal, smoky grey, and I took a couple of photos. I took a few photos, and suddenly that window came smashing down, flat out, and the glass broke and fell out the window. Now that in itself is not such a mystery because it's an old window, etc. But it was right at the end of all the colours changing in the camera. So whether it was a camera thing or what, I don't know. But I didn't look at them. I left, and it wasn't until later that I looked through them. Then I noticed that, you know, the silver light sitting on the top of the sash window there.
Yeah.
Something about that area at the end of the hallway, and that's where I said that's where most of the things that have been seen have been in that corner there.
I'm going to set up in this room while we're gone.
This is the original building. Along here. So this is where the White Star used to end.
Okay.
So this was built on, I think it was the 30s. This bit was added on, and the house was built there, I think it was the late 60s, early 70s. So this is still an old piece, and this is the bit I don't like the most. I was actually people living, the squatters coming up the roof and living in those rooms. I came in here because they were going to do all this up, but they ran out of money. I don't know why they were going in, but it just, when I walked in, it just seemed like work had stopped here on the bulwark.
Yeah. So I'm interested in what the cameras show up later while we were out of the room. Having placed recording devices and sensors nearby each of the building's hotspots, we prepared ourselves for a final sweep of the building. But first I wanted to ask Jeff about his experience photographing the hallway. Yeah, that was the other shot you took, was down there, and you showed it to me. It was almost like a slight arc of light coming across the camera, but you weren't as convinced about that one, that it might be something.
Yeah, it's like coming out of that door. Stayed up from there.
Yeah.
Which would make that room there, would make it.
So it's either this room or the one that we've got the sensors, either the mic set up or...
Dave himself said he'd make grabbed on the leg. It's just a raise.
It's interesting that there's a house up here like that. Is there actually anyone living in there now?
That's their offices.
As soon as you step in here, it just hits you with the heat. Yeah, it's not very inviting.
I don't know why I just I just got the buzz when you walk in and you get it's my own anticipation.
No, it feels like I'm in two minds about this stuff. Since we started doing it, I've started to think, well, maybe there's something going on. And you do find bits like right here, it feels like a bit of a resistance as you get closer to it. And I don't know if that's my own fear.
Because I told you how I felt when I came in there.
Exactly.
Well, it's good to be honest about it. I was not worried last time I was in here with you guys just before. And when I walked in, as soon as I walked in here, I'm not really...
Not picking anything up on this. You hear that? Sound like the roof. Maybe it's just rats. I use my foot. Oh wow.
Is it gross?
There's no water in that. Oh wow. Okay, I'm gonna close that. Might have just been the others up there. The rest is On our way back to the front, Jeff stopped to take a few more photos of a room we'd been looking at down the passage of the hallway. There's a strange photo on that table there.
I think it's dust. Oh no, it is a photo.
What that's of? It's a shark. Former patrons of the White Star Hotel 1918. Manuel King, skipper, hook in hand. Victor King, son, the old band master. Does it say band master? Band master.
So the old band master of Bustleton. B. Lutz, E. Lutz, L. Greaves, O. Gibbard. On board King's yacht Queen. Emmanuel King is the same man pictured in the historical photo in front of the White Star, trying to control 3 horses in the same year. Oh, I think I've seen that photo. The man in the white coat is believed to be the unnamed man.
The unnamed man.
Emmanuel King, Victor King, B. Lutz, on board the yacht Queen. Oh wow, you know what? I've never seen it. I've never seen this.
A young boy. You've never seen that up here?
I've never seen it before. So that's why when we came in, and I was up here,
yeah.
I took a photo of that about a week, 2 weeks ago. And when you said that photo, I thought it was dust. But I don't know, that's weird that they don't That no one's, because that's
Yeah, why would that one just be sitting there as well?
It's pretty important. I mean, I would, especially those people being named historically in Albany. That's a pretty cool photo.
Out of all the rooms we'd investigated on our expedition, the end room at the top floor of the White Star carried the heaviest and the most negative energy we had encountered.
And I was up there and I was like, I hear this voice that says, "What are you doing up here?"
Okay.
And this is the middle of the day, so I was
Where were you when this happened?
down that second room down the left. And I was like, just said, "What are you doing up here?" And I was like, "What? Someone's up here playing around. See, it was this idiot here." And I went back downstairs, and it was only him in the whole pub. I'm like, "Have you been upstairs?" And Greg's like, "No, I've been here the whole time." It was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
And what did the voice sound like?
It was a bloke. No voice, definitely.
Like an older...
Older, quite deep voice. Yeah.
We just found a picture when we walked in. Apparently Jeff was up here the other day and wasn't here.
Oh, well, I didn't notice it.
Or he didn't notice.
Do you know the one I mean? Do you want me to go and get it? How'd you like to see it?
Yeah.
I feel like the one I get from the guy at the end is that skinny, tall type of feeling. It's not. The feeling I get from whoever's up that way is not
When you up that way, down the end there.
the very end room on the left.
Well, that's where most things, or people
Skinny
say
build.
they've seen things as down there in the hall. Right.
You can feel the
outside-
temperature drop in the
outside
room
that
on the left. As soon as you step in there, you feel it drop a degree or two.
Why does that happen if you're not even thinking on that train of thought? Like, I'm not going looking for things or afraid. I'm actually going to take some crazy photos of some things falling apart.
Yeah, why does it suddenly prick you?
Well, until that little girl grabbed me on the leg, I used to bring people up here for a joke, like just to scare the shit out of them.
So you think it was the little girl then?
Yeah, it was just to make it up. And then like, one time I was doing the same thing, walking through the room, and then something grabbed my leg. And
holy
Cheers for that, guys. Sorry. Get creeped out.
Oh, I'm so scared.
I've been thinking a lot about, the people who've passed away in my own life. When my mum passed away, and she came to me in a dream, and I've always wondered if that was just my brain kind of helping me let go, or helping me, process, or whether it was really her. What are the people around Albany? What tribes are there? Is it just
The Noongar people occupy the southwest tip of Western Australia. There's about 36,000 of us. There's 14 different clan groups, including the people from Perth. And the people around Perth are known as Wajak people. You go over towards Bunbury and the Wurundjeri people, and you come further here to Albany, and we call the Penang people. And then you go either side of us, and then there are different clan groups. So as I say, there were 14 different clan groups, but we all basically sit under the Noongar umbrella.
Do you believe in ghosts?
I believe in spirits, yeah. Most Aboriginal people do. When you talk about spirits, we see it as a bit different. As I say, they're alive in everything. Animals, the land itself has a spirit of its own, the weather. I think everyone has the capacity to feel that oneness with a spirit from the land. So we've all got that capacity. Some of us are a little bit more in tune to it than others. There is something there, and it's unexplainable. I knew that I had the ability to listen to things and hear things that other people probably couldn't. And I thought, well, this is an opportunity now for me to expand my knowledge and understand that a bit more. So I've always been aware of it. It resides within me quite comfortably. I understand who I am. I don't fear it. I do a lot of travelling around communities, and I go into areas where there are places that you're invited into by elders, and there are places where you shouldn't go. And there are these spiritual places and places where you shouldn't go. You get a definite feeling of if you're in tune with yourself, you get a signal, and that signal generally tells you, hey, you shouldn't be here. And when you get feelings like that, you need to listen to it. Your intuition is something that we all have. Some of us are more in tune with it. And you can feel, I can feel something in you already. I know certain aspects of our heritage and our culture are very important to me, but personally I connect to my country really quickly and quite comfortably, but to understand it, what those connections are is still an ongoing process.
And you see a lot of Hollywood movies and stuff, and there's supposed to be bad spirits.
Well, let me tell you that you've got a good spirit. You've got something around you that's good. And I don't know whether it's your mother or your father, but you've got a good spirit with you, and it sits with you comfortably, because I've only ever known you remotely, but in talking to you today, you've got something that is special about you. So there is a presence about you. You need to be able to understand that a bit more, and let that life and let that spirit not so much drive you, but be within you and sit with you. And so it's more of a matter of acceptance for you. You'll become more open to things in your next 15 to 20 years, that your life will change. And it'll change to become more open to things that are not explainable. Of course there are bad spirits, and there are bad things and good things in any life. We use smoking for cleansing areas and just letting spirit know that we're there. It wards off bad spirit.
What kind of tree is that?
Well, a sandalwood tree is a medicine. I've used it to ward off bad spirit, and I use it to welcome things as well.
I've talked to mediums who have done what they call Passovers, which is like cleansing, and to them they're helping pass over the spirit that's there into the light, because they're a lost soul walking the earth, and to them I guess the light would be heaven.
That's a debatable, what's the word, protocol that could be. Spirits, we have got no right to tell it to go anywhere apart from, to give you the opportunity to share space. And so if you associate in an area where there is spirit, you need to form a relationship with it rather than tell it to go away and to disappear. Because that to me, that smoking was about just warding it off and saying, hey, we're here for a while. We don't mean to hurt you. We're not here to chuck you out or do anything else but respect you.
It's more about making peace, do you think?
Make peace. We've got no right to tell spirits to do whatever they I don't think we have anymore. Some people may have a different opinion about that, and that's fine. The mudjar tree is a Christmas tree. It's an orange Christmas tree that we traditionally use. They generally grow in soft sandy soils, you see. And our people used to die from time to time, and we knew where all the Christmas trees were in our community. I got one growing in my backyard. And so we used to bury our dead next to these trees because it was easier to dig, and there'd be a process where the spirit would remain in the ground, and when the actual blossoms come out this time of year, the spirit will go up through the tree and out through the blossoms and go into wherever it was going to go. Back into the earth in some way, back into a tree or a favourite animal that you had, or you'd become consumed by the world that we're in.
Yeah.
The one thing that encapsulates us all is the earth.
Everyone returns to the soil
Well,
eventually.
you've got to go back to it. You can't get out of it. There's nothing that has escaped this earth until just quite recently, when people are sending off their junk to outer space. But this world is our world, and you don't get out of it. You're retained within it. The spirit is as well, and that's really important for other people to understand, is that what you do in this world is important. And if our people, we used to live with the earth and make sure that it was protected, and called it Mother Earth. It was part of what we it was a religion.
We're heading out to Camp Quaranup, the old quarantine station, on Monday. Do you have any advice for us before we head out there?
No, just announce yourself within yourself. You don't have to
not
talk,
out loud.
You don't have to talk to spirit. It'll connect to you when it's right, and you'll feel a presence. As I say, I felt something when I walked down here a minute ago. I talk to myself to begin with. I say, am I doing the right thing? What am I here for? And if you are there for the right reasons, and you're not meaning any harm, no harm should come to you.
said if you're coming here, just, inside our own, I guess, to show respect and ask for permission to come to these lands. So that's exactly what I'll do. After settling in at the old isolation hospital, Paul, a local sports and recreational officer, agreed to share some of his stories about the camp's history with us.
She was in the room and something come through, went in through this door and out through that door.
So in this building?
In this building here.
And what building is this?
This is the Michaelmas dormitory. It would have been the single men's quarters, actually.
Oh, okay.
And apparently there was a little girl. And I went, oh yeah, okay, fair enough. And then about a couple of months later, I had a young woman who was coming out to get married here, or was thinking about getting married here. And she was telling me that just over here where the veggie patch is, used to be the toilets. So you used to do the midnight dash across to the toilets.
I can imagine.
And she said she came out here and she was coming back, whatever, and she saw a little girl out here. And she thought it was a bit strange, but, went back to bed. Climbed into bed, and then she said the same thing. The little girl come to the door, walked into the room, turned around and then walked out again. And then a couple of months after that again, this is all within about 12 months that I spoke with these people, there was a young boy that was come here, and he said his mum was a bit of a psychic sort of thing. And he said, I was in bed, he said, I woke up and he said, I heard something, and he said, I looked up and there was a little girl walking through the room. I had another guy who thought there was a boy in the room one time.
Okay.
But no further detail on that one. So yeah,
But the little girl's a story that's cropped up.
That seems to be the common one.
We were looking for stories online and went to the Albany Ghost Stories page, and there was a lady talking about seeing a young girl out here when she was on camp, but it was the 1980s, I believe, when she was here, and they were staying in one of these dormitories, and the little girl appeared at the doorway, and they ran to tell the teachers, and the teachers said, you're just being silly, and sent them back to bed.
Oh, well, so that sort of corroborates it. All of them have said it's a little girl. She comes in through the door, long hair.
Long hair.
Yeah. The strange thing is that as far as we know, there's only 10 deaths here at Camp Quaranup, 2 of which are buried up at the cemetery.
Yeah.
And the other 8 are over in the Pioneer Cemetery over in town. None of them are children that we can ascertain. Whether the records, they didn't count child mortality.
I've heard rumours of leprosy and typhoid and things like that out here.
Basically any notifiable diseases, scarlet fever, chickenpox, mumps, measles, venereal diseases.
Things that could kill you
basically,
or just make you very sick.
Yeah, basically. The little girl is the only one that I've ever heard that actually, people...
So I guess that's who we'll keep an eye out for then.
She's the one to watch out for. That's just in here. Do you want to have a look?
Yeah, I'd love to have a look.
Yeah. This used to be, I don't know if you know, with Quaranup, there was a quarantine station. And when the people come in, this is where the healthy people were, right? So if you weren't showing any signs or symptoms, you come up here. If you did start showing any signs and symptoms or whatever, then you'd be taken up to the isolation hospital. Around the corner there, you had the single women's quarters, then the married quarters, and then the single men's quarters. That was the one that little boy that I was saying said he heard something. That was where he said it was. He was in his bed here. When he said he saw the little girl come in, and she went in through here, out through here, and didn't come back through this way. And there was a teacher asleep in here. The rec room.
Okay.
So none of this was here.
Yeah.
So yeah. But I'll take you out to the old hospital.
And this is the one that was rumoured to have the most activity, hey?
Well, apparently, but I've never heard anybody... I mean, Ian says he'd never sleep in here, but I've never had anybody come out and say, oh my goodness, I couldn't sleep last night or anything like that. So, yeah. So this is the morgue. This is the original slab. It's granite. This is Joseph Grant. As I say, he was a Jamaican merchant seaman. I can't remember what he passed away of, but I think it was Spanish flu.
I heard that from Crispin when we were talking to him.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. He said Spanish flu was the killed a lot of people back there, more than the First World War.
In the First World War.
Yeah.
And then this one's Rory Maguire, underage sort of thing. He's 17 or whatever, and wanted to join up, and he had to have his parents' permission, and Mum wouldn't give it. Seniority was 21.
Yeah.
And they changed the rules so that you could be 18 to enlist. So he hit 18 and he went and signed up. So his mum wrote a letter and basically said, I know I can't stop him going, but if you can put him somewhere safe until at least he reaches 21. And then, he died of that spinocranio meningitis.
So it ended up being something completely different. Yeah.
We did hear that there was a child's grave here somewhere, but we've never found it, and we've had people go right through the area, but
maybe that's the grave of the little girl.
Possibly, but yeah.
Okay, thanks heaps for that.
All right, thank you.
See you in the morning.
Cheers. Indeed.
So walkie-talkies, microphones, torches.
Have you got your holy water?
I do. I reckon we set up a camera on this rock here, looking across. Roger that, this is Alpha Charlie.
Buddy, pal.
What?
Just my mind playing with me.
So this is the bunk. Paul was saying earlier there was someone staying here. They saw the girl come through this door, just walk all the way through and into this area up here. There's one door that used to open out, I think, onto the veranda out there, and then there's bathrooms. So we should set up a camera in here. Automatic fan system. You get any kind of vibe in this bit?
Oh yeah. Can you feel that when you walked in now?
That end bit?
Just as soon as I walked through that door, it was really heavy.
Like something bad had happened there?
Well, just like a really heavy sensation.
If there's something that passes. Did you just beep?
Yeah.
Why is that beeping?
It does feel funny in there.
It does. Heavy's a good word for it. Hey?
Oh, heavy's a good word for it.
Heavy, yeah. I don't like raining.
No.
We're all set up. I reckon we should go explore the rest of the camp, and then we'll come back here. So you said it felt kind of heavy in there, like a bad heavy, like...
Yeah, I didn't want to be in there. But pressure on your lungs sort of thing.
I don't know. Okay, let's try to have a seat in here and we'll stay still for about a minute or two and have a listen. Because it sounded like something dripping there.
Okay.
There's a lock on that roof.
Oh, hell.
What?
I don't know. Maybe it's got a shield for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What happened?
Just shut up all through my body.
As you were looking up there?
Yeah.
Hello? This is where they said the caretaker said he would never spend the night. Hospital and inhalation block. Now they got rising damp in here. Completed in 1875. I got a really creepy feeling when I was in this room earlier. I had a quick look in. I was so scared to come this way as a kid. My dad had one like this. Do you guys want to check out this area a bit more and we'll head into the other side of it? I'll radio in if there's anything strange. Yeah, it's all been bolted up. You can't get in. This is Alpha Charlie. Do you read me?
Oscar Bravo.
We couldn't get into the other room. We're having a look outside.
Hear that?
Yeah. Throughout the night, we had encountered a series of strange noises around the campsite. These seemed to increase in frequency as we returned to the Michaelmas room. About to enter single men's quarters. Kind of feels like a flow through there, eh? Do you feel anything when you step in here?
This part feels okay. To me, like it doesn't flow. It's not stifling or anything.
And these motion sensors should go off.
Get a bit of a shiver.
It's like amazing. It doesn't feel nice in there though.
Can I say a prayer? Just that noise there?
Yeah.
Well, that's getting me.
Okay. This fan should go off soon. You okay?
Yeah, actually, sounded like a prayer.
You okay?
Yeah, actually, sounded like a girl. Feel shy.
Yeah. You okay? I still can't explain this. I didn't hear anything at the time. I know Gina did, but this scares the shit out of me. What do you mean?
I thought I had like a hee-hee noise.
So we were up here when you thought you heard someone say, like a little girl going hee-hee.
That's what I thought I heard. Kind of a shiver down my spine, but I don't know if I'm just being easily scared.
When that guy was sleeping, this door would have been closed, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we should close the door and we'll sit and listen for a while. Did you hear that coming from the other end there?
What, like a creaking noise?
Yeah, it's probably just the building.
Like settling?
Yeah. I think we should maybe go out and meet the others.
How'd you go?
Gina thought she heard something when we were in there.
Well, we're in the end room, and Lincoln was just kind of walking around, and I thought I heard like someone say hee hee, like, oh, it's really creepy. Oh, I don't know.
Might grab that equipment, then we'll head back down and go to the morgue and the graveyard and wrap up, yeah?
Cool.
Do you get any strange vibes while you're in here?
It's not too bad in here.
It's a bit grim. You can see the table, all the blood would run through these crevices into that hole and drain out.
What do you think about what I heard in the end room?
Yeah, in the single men's dormitory where the little girl had been sighted. What do you think about?
Well, I feel like it could have been projected. Like, I was a bit creeped out and scared, so it could have been, my feelings playing up things, but messing with my senses. But I thought I caught like a little girl's kind of laugh, so that kind of scared me. It's kind of stuck with me there. I thought there was something there in that room.
Around here somewhere. We've actually got the holy water. Maybe we should put some near the door. Just for protection. Who knows? It's 3:42 in the morning. Every time I go to fall asleep, I kind of just falling asleep, and then it's like this loud kind of deep voice. We put holy water on the door before bed, and I don't think it's working. This is the worst night since we've been on this. It must be about 5:30 or something. I think I slept for about half an hour, 40 minutes. I don't think anything's around us anymore. I swear that I heard a voice. I don't know, it doesn't feel like we're alone. I don't know. Soon after the release of this documentary in 2017, I was contacted by a woman who stayed at Camp Quaranup in the late 90s. As a child, she was playing outside by a pile of old logs with a little girl in a white dress with long dark hair. The little girl warned her of a bad man inside one of the dormitories. At that moment, her parents arrived and asked her who she was talking to, but when she turned to explain, the little girl was gone. Accounts of this apparition span at least 3 decades, and in my opinion, she is likely the same child who lies buried at Quaranup in an unmarked grave.
It was night time and I was being put to bed and I went into the lounge room.
I was in the front room, in the lounge room, and I'd been playing with Pete and I was kneeling down. I had my back to both the doors. The door from the lounge room into the laundry and the door from the lounge room into the front bedroom.
As I turned to leave the room, I looked out through the doorway that led into the laundry, and I thought that I saw an elderly man, I think with a walking stick, standing in the doorway facing off into the kitchen.
I just noticed a puzzled look on Peter's face. He was standing there facing towards me, looking over that shoulder, and I said to him, what's the matter? And he said, I just saw an old man walk past the door. Now, exactly what that meant to me wasn't clear in terms of the doors, other than it was going from my right behind me to my left.
Were you scared?
No, just had one of those moments where everything seems to be still. You know how sort of suddenly a room will go silent.
Something I remember specifically was Peter drew a picture of the old man coming through a wooden door, almost like he'd seen it at night.
Well, he may have seen it coming through a wooden door, but it wasn't. If that would have
wasn't
been,
at that point in time.
That would have been a different occasion because there was no wooden door on that door. There was a wooden door on the door into the bedroom, but there was no door on the door from the lounge room into the laundry.
I thought that the ghost of the old man actually came through the bedroom door from the hallway and pointed under one of the beds. There was 2 beds in there at one stage, one for Nick and one for myself. The ghost pointed under there, and I remember someone saying that when ghosts point, it's often where they passed away. Do you remember anything along those lines?
I know that there was mention of other people having seen things in the house.
They say that kids can see this stuff more than adults. I did think that he was just making this up for attention at the time, or...
He wasn't behaving like someone who was seeking attention at all.
It's just something you saw.
No big deal was immediately made of it.
When I spoke to Imogen, she thought I might be repressing something that I'd seen in that house as a child, and that's perhaps why I'm
doing this investigation.
Yeah, and a bit of a skeptic as well, because that's something I would have tucked away, and it would have made me more of a skeptic. Nick spoke to me about an old lady that he saw, and it was in the same area. He said he saw it move from the kitchen through the laundry.
I remember him telling us that. Again, I didn't see anything.
Okay, yeah.
But I remember Nick telling us that. And at the time, I didn't know what to make of it. As I said, Peter was not behaving in an attention-seeking way at all. He wasn't an attention-seeking kind of little boy. He just wasn't. He just genuinely looked puzzled, like he'd seen something.
When we spoke last, you mentioned some experiences that you had at the house, and I believe your son...
Yeah, actually it was my middle guy. It was Byron. He doesn't have a lot of memory because he was really young, but he used to wake up screaming, and he used to say there was an old man looking in through the doorway, which is amazing because I think you were saying that your brothers used to see something. As you go into the front of the house, and then you go into your left, that was my office, and we're sitting on the couch, and there's a couple of us in there, and we're talking. And he's standing at the door looking at someone, and I said, "What's that?" And he said, "What's that old man doing in our house?" And he's literally, I'm watching his face follow the guy, follow whatever it was up the hallway with his eyes.
Ooh.
And obviously I couldn't see anything.
Which door was that?
I don't think I told you that the other day, did I?
No, was that the bedroom door at the front of the house?
Well, maybe it was a bedroom for you, but it was my office. We had a visitor, a friend come, and he was sitting at the kitchen table, which was the extension that you guys had put on. And he turns to me, Jordan turns to me and says, "You've got a ghost in the house." I said, "That's bloody ridiculous. We don't have a ghost in the house. What are you talking about?" George said, "Yeah, there's someone walked up the passageway. I see a dark sort of shadow thing walk across sort of heading towards the lounge room, and Jordan said, yeah, that's what I saw. And of course, I just didn't get it at all, because I had never really thought about it, but it's something that was all a bit weird. It got quite nasty when I decided that we needed to get someone to leave it on. He kind of made his presence known, and it really wasn't me just suddenly thinking about it. He got quite nasty. The kitchen lights would be flickering on and off at night, and it all was a bit poltergeisty.
Oh, wow.
I've never... I mean, it was over a period of about 6 months. It took a while to actually get someone organised. The first person couldn't end up coming. They got really sick, and then this person, it took a while before they could come. And 4 or 5 times over sort of a few months, he would stand over me when I was sleeping, and you'd sort of wake up with a bit of a jolt, feel like someone's looking at you, and then this dark shadow would go up the wall. It would just absolutely terrify me.
Who did you actually buy the house from?
You guys.
Really? I thought...
No, you'd sold to someone else.
Yeah, because I found out that someone had it only for 6 months.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Bought it off an investor, but we never really met them. Looking at the history of the house, it was getting sold very regularly. You guys and us were by far the longest people in the house.
So
everyone else would sort of have it for a year or 2 years.
Yeah, passed through a lot of hands. That's strange. Did you feel that once the Passover had happened, it had moved on? The old man?
Oh, I was just all out terrified by then, and really happy to move. I'd never been to a clairvoyant in my life before. Anyway, so she came in and she sensed the guy straight away. She said, his name's George. She says, oh dear, you've made him very welcome. You always leave your front door open. I said, yes, we do.
His name's George.
And his name was George, and of course, apparently, I'd often be calling out George, that's my husband, and he was very at home. I think she really thought he was from the hospital, and he used to come over and visit.
I do remember you saying that that after the medium came in and did the Passover, that George felt there might have been something still there.
Yeah, he did. I just reckon the energy was still there. But when Maureen left, she said, oh, no, I've got over him. He really didn't want to go. He didn't want to face the wrath of God because he had been not a very nice person, especially to women.
My other brother, Nick, saw the ghost of old lady moving from the kitchen through the laundry, wearing old clothing. Perhaps if there was something still there, maybe it was her and not George.
There used to be an old woman that used to have borders there, but she was this old tough old lady that used to have a heap of old borders.
Oh.
So I don't know. All right.
Thanks, Lisa.
See ya.
Wow. This is my bedroom with the old wooden door. And there's the door that connects back through to the lounge room. We used to have one bed here and one bed over there. I think mine might have been on this side. I'm not quite sure. And I remember when my brother drew that picture, it was of this door. So if we come in, I'll just show you. It's exactly as I remember, with the same pattern. This is the door he drew. And when he drew it, there was an old man passing through. So before we go back out to the hallway, I just want to say, this is the hallway where the medium thought George was coming through the front door from the hospital and into their bedroom. So if you can imagine it, here's the old door. I think it's still the same old door. I remember this lock actually. So through here and down this way, this would be the second eldest room in the house. You can tell by the pressed tin on the walls. This came just after the front two, which formed the original cottage. This is my mum and dad's room. This is where their bed was. This is also where Lisa and George had their bedroom. And right over in the corner here is where the cupboard was. And I was really scared as a kid because I always thought there was something in Dad's cupboard. When I was scared, I'd climb into bed, but I'd always look up the whole night at the cupboard in the corner. This is where my brother Nick would have seen the old lady who passed from this side through to the laundry while he was sitting on that couch watching. Okay, so we're here in my old lounge room. It's the fireplace, and we used to have our TV over here. It's where I used to play Super Nintendo. As you can see, if you look out the window over here, there's the Vancouver Arts Centre. There seems to be some evidence that this was once the apothecary, and this window here is where they used to hand out the medicine. So they would pass it out, presumably to people who were coming from the hospital who needed their prescriptions. If we come over here, these are the two doors. This door leads into the bedroom. That was my bedroom that I shared with my brother Nick. Then that door to the kitchen, and out here is the laundry. When we were young, our couch was over in this corner where I'm standing right about now. And this is where my dad must have been playing with my brother when he thought he saw something. So what I might do, while we have the time, is pull out a prayer that I prepared earlier. Please, Lord, keep me safe. I come with good intention. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on our earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also have forgiven our debtors. And do not bring us to the time of trial, but rescue us from the evil one. For any spirit which remains present in this house since death, I call on Jesus and the archangels to help them cross over. Amen. I don't know if that did anything, but it was worth a try. Alright, so that is pretty much just as I remember. The door that went to the hallway where Lisa said the ghost walked, that's the same door my brother drew. It's the same, it's different from the other one, it's the same pattern, and he drew it coming through. That's so strange. I don't know why I have that memory, because they're saying that the ghost came from the lounge room and through the laundry, which is over the other side. So why would I be remembering that door? Everywhere I looked in there, it's like there's a memory attached to it. That was fantastic. There's a lot of rough kind of memories there, because that's where my parents divorced.
I think you've seen things and you've felt things, and it's completely shifted your focus. I have to meditate on it, but I don't know if it was where you were staying or when you actually had a reading with the lady down there, but somebody has been trying to make contact with you both from somewhere. That's the easiest way I can put it. No, I don't know. Usually a poltergeist is a young teenage, rather a naughty, sort of a bit of a bratty child. I don't think necessarily a bad spirit. I think I'm picking up and sensing more of a very frustrated person trying to get something across the board. For goodness sake, take notice. That room where that occurred and the room with the fist through the window, was that very far from where the druggies were all squatting?
So it was at the other end of the building?
Yeah, because I think I'm kind of feeling a very strong-willed and physically strong man who was sort of old school. You did the right thing, you looked after your wife, you looked after your children, you put money on the table every Friday. A sea captain or somebody like that. And he was very angry about, he's so upset about all these druggies because he sees them as people that are just like a leech on society, that they shouldn't be there, they should be out working. Yeah, exactly. She could be looking for a mum. Yeah. Was she buried near there?
I believe she was, yeah.
She's confused, you see, there's confusion.
Yeah.
That's the confusion there with that little one, yeah. No, not so much possession, but I think somebody was there trying to get your attention. Really trying hard to get your attention.
I spoke to a friend of mine who's a local Indigenous leader in the community. I asked him about Passovers, and he said, from his point of view, that we don't really have any business telling spirits where to go. And this kind of clashed with, what Imogen had spoken about and what you'd spoken about. I'm not trying to start a fight, but
that's their culture. Whereas the way we look at it, we sort of, I suppose in a way we could be seen as interfering in their lives or telling them what to do, but sometimes if people are really struggling, like they struggled at death and they're still struggling, then they're waiting. It's like they're waiting for someone to say, it's okay, everybody's here, it's okay, we'll see you again, it's all right to go.
He just felt as though that he had no place to tell something, energy or a spirit that...
What to do, sort of thing.
If it's been there so long, that it needed to go when, to him, you return to the earth, and so if your spirit's there, then that's where it is. I guess it's not so much, the Western perspective of passing over into, say, heaven.
To the afterlife.
Or the afterlife. It's almost as though they never leave.
Yeah. Yeah, which I can see there too. Our perception is if someone's there and they're giving signals and letting you know and you can sense that there's unhappiness, our role is to hopefully help these people to be happy.